All right, ladies and gentlemen, you ever been in a situation where you get to absolutely gobsmack your bully on your favorite video game in front of everybody? Well, the person that sent this in to me got the opportunity to make that happen after being called a pathetic loser, so I figured I would share it with y'all, and without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so the person who sent this in to me plays this fighting game at a pretty high level to the point where, like, they've been to tournaments and stuff, you know, they've won some money playing the game. And they weren't the type of person who would always be running around bragging about it and telling everyone. Most people at their school didn't even have any idea that, like, they played a fighting game. And in one of the classes at this kid's school was a teacher that I guess was a big fan of the series as well, because he had, like, this huge poster hanging up of this game. And you know how there's little cliques in different classes. Some of the more, like, popular bully guys that would make fun of everybody and, like, cause problems, all that stuff, were also, I guess, fans of this game or noticed the poster, because one day when they're in class, you know, the subscriber overhears these, like, bully kids begging the teacher to, you know, let them have a tournament on it. You know, Christmas break was coming up, and if everything's still the same from when I was younger, the last week before Christmas break is kind of a joke, so they were kind of like, oh, come on, let's have a tournament. We can bring in the consoles and controllers. Like, trust me, it'll be awesome. And the teacher kind of liked the idea. He was like, obviously, it would be kind of fun to have a video game tournament day. Most teachers on the last day before, like, Christmas break were allowed to watch movies and stuff. So he said he would be willing to ask the administration if it was okay. And he said something they couldn't tell the administration was that whoever won was going to get extra credit. And obviously, everybody was pretty hyped about that. You know, it's pretty cool of the teacher to be like, not only am I going to ask if we can play video games on the last day of school, but on top of that, whoever's the best at it gets extra credit. Probably going a pretty far way to, like, prove you're the coolest teacher. And somehow, I'm not really sure how, he ends up getting it approved by the principal, you know, so obviously everybody's super hyped when he confirms that this video game tournament is going to be happening. And as I said, the person who sent this in to me, you know, they were really good at this game. Like, they had literally won tournaments before, you know, so they were pretty excited, but they didn't mention to anybody how good they were at the game. They just didn't feel like bragging about it. It really wasn't their style, so they were just like, you know, it'd be nice to get some extra credit, so whatever, when the day comes, we'll see if I win. And I guess the way that they had ended up breaking it down just so not only one person got extra credit was like there was going to be teams of 4 and everybody was going to play everybody round robin style, and then like they were going to calculate the total win-loss of the teams and the best team would get extra credit. So whatever, they ended up picking team captains, and the subscriber wasn't a team captain, you know, it ended up being like 4 different kids, and one of them was one of these like bully popular dudes who he had just kind of had problems with in the past, and they were picking teams, and it just so happened that that guy had the first overall pick, and he was kind of walking down the line like sizing everybody up, and he ended up getting to the subscriber and was like, nah, this is a pathetic loser right here, and everybody kind of laughed. And obviously at that point, this person who sent this in to me is like, all right, my job is when I play this guy to embarrass him as much as possible. He didn't backtalk him in that moment. He was just kind of like, all right, fine, you know, but in his mind he's like, nah, this dude's a douche, because there was just no reason to do that. There was no reason to call him a pathetic loser in front of everybody when it's dead quiet and like try to embarrass him, unless you were just trying to be a jerk. So whatever, he just kind of has that in the back of his mind. And the guy who had kind of made fun of him a little bit ends up picking 2 of his friends and then like a girl that he had a crush on. And obviously I think in his head, you know, he's like, listen, we're gonna win this tournament, I'll impress the girl I like, I'll make fun of this kid in the process, it's gonna be a pretty good day. And so the rest of the people are picking teams and whatnot, and it ends up being that the subscriber doesn't get picked. Nobody bothers to pick him, which is hilarious because he's like the secret weapon. But the entire time that people are picking, he's just kind of listening and like eavesdropping. Not that he has to be eavesdropping very hard because the guy is like talking very loudly. But the guy that had picked 2 of his friends and his crush is talking about how he's going to make sure they got extra credit because he's really good at this game, you know, and how like, oh, she's probably going to want to go out with him after he impresses her with her skills. And obviously he was kind of half joking, but he's like, all right, so my thoughts were correct. This is this dude's kind of plan. So now he's like, I'm going to embarrass him, not only because he embarrassed me, but on top of that, I'm going to embarrass him in front of his crush. And at that moment, he decides to go like full sweat mode. You know, when you shoot one bullet at a guy in Fortnite and he decides to build like the Taj Mahal back in the day when that game was fun, that's basically the level of sweat this guy decides he's going to use against him, just to make sure that he embarrasses him, right? So, he's just locks in on that plan. And before anyone in the comments is like, why does this guy want to get revenge so bad? Hey man, he didn't start it, all right? Imagine being called pathetic in front of everybody for no reason, and then like knowing that you have the ability to make that person look really stupid. It's not like he's going out of his way to get revenge and like put dead raccoons in this guy's bed or anything. All he's doing is just like beating him really badly at a video game, and the tournament is presenting itself. He didn't set up the tournament in some secret master plan to embarrass him. It's just convenient that it's today. Like, let's put it this way. Imagine somebody said that you were a pathetic loser, and then they challenged you to an arm wrestling competition, only for you to secretly be like a world champion at it, right? Would you still flip them over the table? Yeah, you probably would. So whatever, the day of the tournament comes and everybody's pretty excited, and the person who sent this to me is pretty dialed in, he's just ready to get his game on. And it just so happens that the first round of the day is the popular guy's team versus, another group of 4 people, and they end up doing okay. He does win his matchup, mainly because like the person that he ended up playing against had never played the game before. And so the subscribers watching this kind of wondering why this guy was talking so much trash, because he's just not that good, Not that it matters, because some people just talk trash no matter what, but you would think if you're going to be calling people pathetic losers in front of the entire class before a tournament that you'd at least have some skills to back up what you're saying, like you better be able to embarrass some people. And so whatever, they end up winning that round like I said, but the time comes for like another 2 teams to play. So the subscriber ends up being one of the people playing in this round, and he's not really trying. He's probably trying like 20% because it's not the guy who had called him pathetic, and he's playing another one of these kids who had just never played before, so it doesn't take much, but he does end up beating him. And the way that he beats him is he does like a pretty cool combo move that I guess people didn't know how to do. And like I said, he wasn't really trying, but it just so happens that the move was like the first combo move people had done. So everyone was kind of like, oh, whoa, how did you do that? Like that was pretty impressive. Oh, he's good. Watch out if you have to play him. Just kind of like talking about how he seemed like he kind of knew what he was doing at the fighting game. And I guess the popular bully guy that like didn't like the subscriber, right? For no reason at that point just couldn't deal with positive attention being his way, because for no reason he like runs up, stands in front of everybody, and is like, no, he's not that good, trust me, he was just mashing the buttons together, he didn't mean to do that, there's no way he's that good, he just got lucky. And honestly, everybody's like, yeah, good point, he probably just got lucky, because this kid was kind of a bully, one of the people that was always just kind of calling the shots. And whatever, at that point the subscriber's getting more and more irritated, because he already didn't like him, but that was another just unprompted trash talking session. Like, there was no reason for this dude to get up and, like, say that he got lucky and he sucks and probably didn't know how to do a combo. He wasn't even playing him, right? It was completely unrelated. So at that point, he had kept his mouth shut the first time. He decides that even though he's trying to hold it in, that it's just gotta come out. And so he looks at this dude who's just been messing with him and bullying him, and he goes, listen, I know that we're gonna play everyone today, right? And he goes, yeah. And he's like, when I play you, I'm gonna smack you like a little bitch, okay? And everybody is kind of like, oh, even the popular guys kind of caught off guard, because like I said, this person was just pretty quiet before then. They had never really replied to the bullying before. That was the first time that like they had really said anything. And the popular guy is like, oh yeah, you think so? You think you're gonna be able to beat me? Dude, you suck, you just got lucky, I bet. Let's go right now. And he looked at the teacher and asked if they could play right now. And, honestly, at that point, the teacher probably should have been like, no, you guys seem a little angry. This is probably going to get out of control. I don't think that's a good idea. But he was probably a little bit hyped to see the matchup too, So he's like, yeah, sure. And so they end up like sitting down, picking the map, picking characters, all that stuff. And the subscriber, I guess, had ended up learning this like method to do this combo with one hand, right? And so he goes, everybody watch this. And he ends up beating the dude in the first round with literally one hand. And he looks at him after he does it and he goes, God, bro, you really suck. Like, you should have practiced more, man. You were calling me pathetic, but wow, you're garbage. and he's turning red. And there was going to be like 3 rounds before you played a different person, blah, 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 blah. So round 2 comes around, and obviously, if the bully guy loses this one, it's over. If you're playing a best of 3, then like if you win 2, there's no way for you to win. So the same thing happens. This time he tries with both hands and just destroys him. Like literally, it starts and 13 seconds later, it's over. It's just absolutely obliterated. And honestly, everybody's kind of laughing at that point. Even if you don't know a lot about the video games, it was just one of those things where somebody got crushed so bad, you didn't even need to know what was going on, right? Like, I don't know a lot about baseball, but if I turn on a game and it's 55-2, I know things were going horribly for the team that got scored on 55 times. So at that point, he decides to go for the kill shot, and he turns and looks at this guy's crush that he had picked out for the team, the bully's crush, right? And he goes, damn, this guy's a pathetic loser. And obviously at that point, everybody starts laughing, except for the popular guy who's now being made fun of and embarrassed in front of his crush. And at that point, he pops out of his chair, turns, and shoves the subscriber. And the subscriber was sitting in a chair. And if you've ever been shoved when you're in a chair, it's pretty hard to, like, prevent it at all. And so he falls over, the chair falls with him, and now he's on the ground. And so, you know, the popular bully guy has him on the ground and comes to, like, beat on him, punch him in the face, embarrass him, and whatnot. And it just so happens that the subscriber grabs his arm and pulls him just to kind of try to, like, get him to not hit himself, right? And the way that he pulls him and the way that the chair is balanced, it catches him off balance and he just kind of falls. And, you know, the subscriber was not trying to do this. He didn't correct anybody later when they were like, no, you did that on purpose, you know, but he really was not trying to do this on purpose. But when he had grabbed his arm and pulled him down, he had gotten off balance and had fallen. And it just so happens that this dude's face, as he's falling, just smacks into the subscriber's elbow. And it looks like he purposely pulls this guy and elbows him in the face. But he really did not mean to. It was just purely luck. And you would think at that moment that, like, this guy's going to get angry and there's going to be a huge fight. But no. Instead, after getting elbowed in the face, he just starts crying. Which, you know, all in all, hey, everybody cries. I cry. You cry. Everyone cries. It just is what it is. But for a series of events to be calling someone a pathetic loser and then attack them, get elbowed in the face, and start crying, yeah, that's definitely not a good look. You got destroyed in the video game. You got destroyed physically. Now you're crying in front of everybody. It's just not a very good day. That being said, he started literally all of it. And everybody at that point is kind of like, damn, you know, kind of surprised when the quiet kid, the first time he ever, like, gets in an altercation, makes the popular bully start crying. It's pretty impressive. Everybody's kind of like, damn, but the teacher at that point gets between them to break it up. And he's pretty furious because obviously he knows that, like, A, he's going to have to report this to the dean's office, and B, chances are this puts a pretty big kibosh in the principal ever letting him do anything fun like a video game tournament ever again. And when he breaks him up, he's like, you ruined this for everyone. The school is never going to let us play again, which, you know, I'm not going to lie, is probably true. Imagine being the principal and you're like, sure, I'll be super cool this year and let you play video games. And then, you know, you already shouldn't be playing video games. And the first time you do it, people get into a fight. You're probably just never saying yes to the idea again. And it obviously does suck for everybody at this school, you know, don't get it twisted. But I don't really know what they expected to happen from Mr. Bully over here. You can't just go around like prodding and prodding and prodding somebody, trying to get them to react and then be all surprised Pikachu when they react, you know? Like if I just sat behind you and just kept flicking you in the ear and you kept being like, stop that, stop that, stop that, and then eventually told me if I did it again, you were gonna hit me, and I did it again and you hit me. Like, okay, you shouldn't have hit me, but at the same time, damn, bro, I probably should have learned my lesson at some point. Calling somebody a pathetic loser and then getting owned by them, like, is brutal enough in competition. But then on top of that, to get beat in competition and then literally beaten right after, like, my goodness. Just rolling straight L's. If you're going to talk that much trash, you kind of got to be able to back it up at some point, you know? Don't be rolling around calling people pathetic if you're not going to be able to beat them in the competition. Like, listen, if I went to a track meet, you would not catch me anywhere being like, oh, you guys are slow, I'm going to leave y'all in the dust. It ain't happening, dog. I'm just going to avoid talking trash in that situation because I'm going to get destroyed. Anyways, they both get sent to the dean's office for fighting, which is what happens when you get in a fight. And sadly, both of them end up getting suspended ended, which I think is stupid. I've always thought it's dumb that, like, even if you did not start the fight at all, someone just decides to attack you, push you out of a chair, jump on you. If you swing back at all, you're both in trouble. Oh yeah, we just have a zero tolerance policy for fighting. Well, how about you have a zero tolerance policy for starting the fight and 100% policy for finishing it? Anyways, they're just kind of sitting in the office after talking to the dean, waiting to get picked up, and the popular kid, like, wouldn't turn and look at him. And, his parents got there first, and so he stood up to leave, and when he stands up and leaves, he sees the other side of his face where he had elbowed him. And sure enough, he had managed to give the dude a black eye on complete accident. So it looks like he just absolutely obliterated him in this fight. It was a complete accident, it just so happened that the elbow perfectly gave him a black eye. And that made him feel pretty good. After a while, though, his parents show up, and they're pretty pissed. He's in a substantial amount of trouble, as you're probably going to be if you get in a fight about video games at school. Obviously, it was a bit deeper than that, but, like, do you think when the deans called his parents, they were very generous on the explanation? No, it did seem like a misunderstanding bully situation where he finally stood up for himself. Of course not. The principal was on the phone like, these video games are turning your kids into a demon. I'm pretty sure that your kid at one point looked me in the eyes and threatened to shove an Xbox inside of me. They're just hyping it up, trying to make it sound as bad as possible. But I will say, to be fair to his parents, it is a pretty stupid reason to get in a fight, all things considered. Like, nah, he was talking mad trash, so I beat him in a video game and then I fought him. Yeah, okay, I think my parents probably would have been pretty upset too, even if, everybody watching this kind of gets it. But the funniest part of all of this is somebody had gotten a video of the fight once they had started arguing, and it had kind of gone, like, semi-viral on local social media. You know how, like, something will get shared amongst a bunch of people at a couple schools viral? Well, it had kind of gone viral there, and obviously it made him look pretty good, so, that felt pretty great. But the real coup de grace of all of this, the thing that made him absolutely hysterical, obviously all of this had started because the guy had been talking a bunch of trash to try to impress that girl he had a crush on. Well, she happened to have the top comment on one of the videos that was posted of the fight, saying that she thought that both of them were pathetic losers, right? Which, pretty fair. You get into a fight over video games, all things considered. Yeah, fair. But at the same time, it also meant that was mission accomplished. He didn't really care if she thought he was a pathetic loser, because it's not like he had a crush on her. It was that other kid's crush. So if someone you don't care about thinks you're pathetic, whatever, life goes on. Some people aren't going to like you. It is what it is. But if you get your worst enemy's crush to not like him, that is how you just have a big W. It wasn't like this was some big master elaborate plan. He had just wanted to embarrass him, but he had apparently embarrassed him enough for her to think that he was a pathetic loser. So all in all, he considered the entire endeavor a little bit of success. I know a lot of people are probably going to hate this guy for that, like, oh, this guy sucks. I don't know if I would agree that getting his crush to hate him is funny. But listen, the popular dude didn't need to attack him. He didn't need to talk trash. He didn't need to do all that like he did. Sure, at the same time, the person who sent this in didn't need to reply and do anything. But all things considered, like I was telling earlier, if, like, I just keep messing with you, eventually you're going to react, right? Like, it's just a matter of time. And if it just so happens that your reaction makes me look stupid, it is what it is. Everything the person that sent this into me did was just a response to something the other guy had done that was out of pocket and completely unnecessary. And all in all, it also is hilarious that the black eye in and of itself was an accident. Like, that's also pretty ironic, He ends up beating the crap out of him completely on accident, but everybody's like, yeah, dude, you just can't fight anymore. Everybody's gonna think that, like, the person who sent this in is some expert karate master, never gonna want to step to him in a fight ever again. He's basically going to be able to take chocolate milk from anyone in the lunchroom. But gotta remember, man, with great power comes great responsibility. You don't want to be out there becoming the bully, all right? That's not a good thing. Moral of the story, in all honesty, I think here is that everyone's a pathetic loser. If you're a bully, you're a pathetic loser. You're getting bullied and not standing up for yourself, pathetic loser. Everyone in humanity is a pathetic loser. Even if you're a winner, we're all going to die. And if you can't stay alive forever, then you're really a loser, I have no idea where I was going for that one. That made completely no sense. I don't want anyone to take any of that seriously. Anyways, guys, I think that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to press the like button. Let me know in the comments section down below what you thought. I would very much appreciate it. And of course, subscribe if you're new and turn on notifications if you enjoyed the story time. I post story times quite often, so you never want to miss out. Turn on noties. If you really want to help me out, I'll put a link to the intro song down below, along with the link to my podcast, The Scuffed Cast. Or if you want to be a real unit, use code SCRUBBY at the G Fuel checkout. You get a bunch of G Fuel energy, very swag, and it helps me out, so everyone's a winner. And last but not least, if you do check out the last link in the description, it is a link to my merch store, so if you want to head over there and pick up a t-shirt, I definitely would not mind, you know. It is the coolest merch to ever exist. I'm obviously a little bit biased, but hey, who's not? We're all trying to get the bag, you know. But on that note, guys, that will do it. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I will see each and every single one of you guys next time with another video. I'm gonna go ahead and watch 47 seasons of Homestead Rescue now. Hopefully I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.